What's the most bizarre rule you've had to follow in someone else's house? Visited my bestie's family farm for a week. Once you left the house, you could not return until dinner time. You can chill in the old farmhouse or farm garage. When you return to the house they live in, you strip down in the garage, put on a robe and fresh socks. You can then enter the house, drop all your clothes in the washing machine and to go straight to the shower. After your shower, the robe and socks go into the washer. Once inside and showered, then you are in for the night. We were adults, not kids. This wasn't a livestock farm, and nor did we work in the corn or soy fields. It was an unspoken rule. No eating. A few friends spent the night at a former friend's house when we were teenagers. She offered us a small bowl of macaroni and cheese at about 4 p.m. We thought it was an after-school snack, but that was it. Food wasn't mentioned again. My friends and I woke up in the middle of night starving, so we went to the kitchen and the cabinets and refrigerator were locked. Was in someone's house doing some work. I was not allowed to drink soda directly out of my can. The lady provided a glass to pour it into. No Pringles, they catch fire too easily. Wearing jeans meant the only place I could sit was on one of the kitchen island stools. Kitchen chairs, sofas or chairs around the house, or any beds were no bueno. Also no shoes inside, which was fine, but also had to remove socks, so walking on cold hard flooring was super annoying. They didn't like that I brought my own slippers the next time I visited. Avoid going there now as much as I can. Nothing too strange. But my friend's house, we were not allowed upstairs except for rare occasions. We had to stay in the basement. Granted, the basement had its own entrance, bathroom, kitchen, TVS, pool table, couches. When I was 8, I was best friends with the girl across the street. She lived with her mom and aunt, and literally directly across the street from me. I slept over with her on Saturday, and her aunt and mother forced me to go to church with them. Because you aren't allowed to walk across the street by yourself, we won't let you go home until after church. It's worth noting that I was raised atheist by a father who hates religion with a burning passion, because he was abused by religious superiors in his childhood. Exactly what you're thinking, yeah, and so I was raised to believe religion is the root of all evil, and I was an 8-year-old with an anxiety disorder and autism on top of being raised to be horrifically terrified of anyone who believed in God. So needless to say, the second they dragged me into the church I had a breakdown, because I was so scared, and I got yelled at for making us look bad by my friend's aunt, and they yelled at my parents for my behavior when they finally brought me home. My friend got really mad at me for not just toughing it out, and she was super angry with me when I stopped hanging out with her because of it. No pooping on the floor, which is a fine request, but weird they had to call it out. I visited a friend at a lake house for 2 weeks in the summer and no one was allowed to get up before their dad. This fucking guy would drink until 1-3 a.m. and not wake up till 11 a.m. and would throw a tantrum if anyone made noise before he was able to get up again and drag his ass back to the real world. My friend's mom strictly enforced this the entire time I was there too. The things you look back on from your kid years, man, that was just a hostage situation. At my best friend's growing up middle HS, if we wanted to go do something together like go to the lighthouse or visit the old sugar mill ruins, we had to write a research paper first. We would give our papers to my friend's mom and then she would decide if we could go or not. I volunteered at an organic farm where it was forbidden to use toilet paper. Some volunteers used a personal rag they would wash after they wiped. I opted to improvise a portable bidet using a plastic bottle and made sure to wash my hands thoroughly afterwards all the time. Years ago, a friend of mine started dating this girl, and if you went to his place, note, she didn't live there. She insisted that you had to sit down to pee. She would listen at the door to make sure you weren't standing. It was quite the yelling match afterwards. Went to a house of a bunch of Taiwanese engineers. Wasn't allowed to sit on the couch because I'm dirty. Apparently they changed their clothes the second they get home and put on their clean clothing, played penny poker with them on picnic chairs. 100 would not repeat. Back in the 50s, my friend's mom would check every kid coming in for head lice. A friend's family was super strict on water use. If I took a shower, which wasn't that often, but I did occasionally after a sleepover, I had to turn off the water while I washed my hair and body and only turn it back on when I rinsed. It wasn't the worst rule ever, but dang were those showers cold, as her water heater wasn't the greatest. No walking through the dining room to get to the kitchen, even though that was the direct route. We had all taken our shoes off at the door, but my mom will know from the vacuum stripes in the carpet. The way she said it implies that her mom was not just upset about footprints, but would be mad even if we wiped away the footprints, which is staunchly in favor of Cocoa Puffs. Let the dog lick me? I sat there for about 2 minutes, then stood up and said, "I'll chill," but I'm doing it outside. Powerade is okay. Caterade is not. They were an Orthodox family. Had a friend who was a bit of a hypochondriac. Said she was deathly allergic to cats. At the time I had a cat. She would make me change my clothes to a newly washed pair, had to keep a set in a separate bag in order to enter her apartment. What was strange though is that she would never feel any effects when we went out together, so definitely a mental thing. Not due to any want, but need. When I was a Christian, I volunteered to go on a missionary trip where I helped remodel people's trailers. The trailer was so old that parts of the floor sagged, and so I had to walk super gingerly on the floor to avoid going through it.